Hi, I wanted to do a video blog today to kind of explain why movement as medicine works. I think we've all heard this a lot, that using movement to make us feel better and for pain works, but why does it work? And I think if we understand that, people are more likely to try it. So to do that, I have to kind of explain what pain is. So basics of pain are load versus capacity. If our load is greater than our capacity, we have potential pain. That's really the end-all be-all of it, but it's much more complex than that. That's a simple, easy way to put it down, but it's a very complex subject. So basically, the load is what we ask our body to do. Activities of daily living, sports, work activities, everything we do in a day contributes to our load, but so does our emotional state and what we eat. That also contributes to the load on our body. Okay, capacity is what our body can tolerate. And capacity isn't just about tissue strength. Our capacity is actually set in some respects by our nervous system. So our nervous system is designed to protect us. So it wants to alert us that we might be overloading something or something might be irritating us well before we actually damage the tissue. So the nervous system is really the first level of pain. And oftentimes when we have pain, there's no tissue damage. It is just our nervous system reacting. It's kind of a fight or flight response. So the issue with the load versus capacity thing is both load and capacity are sliding scales. Your load is easy to understand. No 2 days look alike. One day we might put more load on our body, and the next day we might not put as much. And this can be anything. One day we might go up the stairs more times in a day. One day we might sit more in a day. No, we do very different things every single day. Even when we are on routines, our days look different in some respects. Our capacity is a little more complex to understand. Our capacity can actually change. Our ability to tolerate load can change. If we're sick, we haven't eaten well, we are more stressed, we don't sleep well, all of those things make us less resilient to load. If we're sleeping well, we're training well, we add in lots of movement, it makes us more resilient to load. So on any given day, based on what we're doing, our capacity could be high or low. And so I'm going to use back pain because I think it's the most common pain we have to kind of explain this. Now, so many of us have had that time where we just bent forward, did something we do every day, like maybe taking the garbage out of the garbage bag, and now we have pain. Why today? Why do we have pain today? We do this probably a million times in our lives, but one day we get pain. And it goes back to load versus capacity. So we'd have to look back, and most times we'd never ever actually figure out the exact pinpoint cause, but sometimes we can figure out a few little things. So maybe that day, that person sat a little bit more. So they were in a flexion-based position for a lot more of the day. So their flexion muscles, the muscles or structures, the structures that are involved in bending forward, took a little extra load that day. So when they went to bend forward to pick up the garbage bag, that might have been it. They might have exceeded their capacity for the day, and the nervous system sent pain. Also, on the other hand, what happened is our extension-based structures, they weren't getting used. And in fact, they became deconditioned by not being used all day, and their resilience to load went down. Their capacity was actually lowered. So when they stood up from lifting that garbage, when they pulled it out, because they hadn't used their extension-based muscles most of the day, they couldn't tolerate the load of lifting it out. And those could have caused pain. So you can see how the imbalance in movement made us more susceptible to pain. So what could we do about it in this example? Well, one, I would find the movement that was missing and add it in. In this example, it was extension. So maybe I would have that patient stand up throughout the day. I would have them do back bends throughout the day. And what we're doing there is we're doing two things. One, we're decreasing the load on the back muscles. We're giving them a break throughout the day. And sometimes that's just enough for the nervous system to be happy. But what we're also doing is we're increasing the capacity of the extension muscles. So now they're being used kind of like when you're training at the gym, and the first week, you know, you lift 10 pounds with bicep curl and you can't do it, but by the next week you can do 20. You didn't build strength that fast, you just built your capacity. The same thing happens here. By adding in back bends, we're a little more resilient to the movement of extension, and we can tolerate it, and we're less likely to get injured by the activity of pulling the bag out of the garbage can. After we kind of do that, we might also want to train flexion a little bit more, because we do ask our body, if you're sitting at a desk, we ask our body to flex a lot throughout the day. So if we train flexion, we can also increase the capacity of flexion so that it can tolerate the load of sitting and also the load of taking the garbage can out. And the good news is when you use this movement, the nervous system adjusts so rapidly that you can feel better pretty quickly, sometimes within the day or within a few days. So movement really is a great way to tone down the nervous system, decrease pain, not have to use medications. I like people to say, hey, I'm feeling pain. Instead of grabbing some pills, go ahead, let me try some movement. Let me find the missing movement, add that in, and see if that helps. And that's what I do to try to help my patients manage pain and use movement and medicine. I hope this helps. Please email me with questions.